Hello Cancer, and welcome to this tiny corner of the internet that is Wild Fox Alchemy. If we haven't met before, my name is Gaian. I'm an intuitive business success coach and tarot card reader, and I'm here today to do your business and finance reading for the month of October 2021. So shall we get started? We start with a theme for the month. Now this is new because normally I just do a theme for the month at the beginning of each money and business reading, but today I was drawn to draw a spirit animal card for the whole reading. Don't know why, I don't ask, I just do as I'm told. We have Swan Spirit here, which is time for a deep dive, and I feel this is very much the energy of the Judgment card actually here. This is about you asking yourself questions, being honest with yourself, digging deep to find the truth of who you are and what you want from your business. The swan looks very graceful on the surface, but there's a lot going on underneath, and I feel like it's time for you to take a look at what is going on underneath there. What do you want? What do you need? How do you need to go about getting it? Take that deep dive, have a good look into things this month, Cancer, is what I believe this is all about. I'm going to pop that one up there, out of the way for the time being. So let's get started with your finances on this top row. Quite often these are separate readings, but more often than not I find that they interlink. So let's start. This is a great card to get started with, Cancer. This is the Wheel of Fortune. There isn't a better card, I don't think, to start a financial spread with. This is change coming in. This is a new cycle. This is a turning point. It's about good luck. It's about possibilities. This is your overall energy for the month of October, Cancer, and I find that really, really fantastic. Where you need to focus your energy is on the Ten of Feathers, recovery and transformation. This can be... it's kind of a double-edged sword, this one, because it can be about recovery from something painful, something that's made you feel quite sad, a painful ending. You know, it may not have been a great ending, but what this card is telling you is that transformation and recovery are possible. We'll talk about it a bit more in a second. Your strengths, the Queen of Crystals. She's a brilliant card to get in a financial reading. She is just all about prosperity. She's kind of a working mum figure that contributes to the family. She's there to provide comfort to them. She doesn't tend to be in business because she wants to earn millions and millions of dollars to spend on Ferraris and nonsense. She tends to be in business because she wants to support her family and bring security to them. I feel like this could be your why. That makes sense, Cancer, why you actually want a successful business. Possible obstacles, we've got the Ace of Crystals, manifestation and prosperity. What are you blocking? Are you blocking new financial opportunities there, Cancer? Are you blocking your own prosperity? There's a good chance you are. And the outcome there is the Five of Shells. This is about change. This is a funny old card, I find, because there is Firefly focusing in on the one dull, dark shell there. Can you see? Whereas behind him, illuminated, are four other shells, and he's not paying any attention to those at all. This is about you not necessarily focusing on the right choices. Feeling pessimistic rather than optimistic. It's a card of change. But it's up to you now to see the hope in things and to look for the opportunities rather than focusing on regret and failure. Don't focus on that. Okay. So how do I feel about this reading as a whole? I feel like this month for you financially is going to be excellent. This is a turning point for you. I feel like there's a lot of stuff, I'm going to call it stuff, that has gone on previously for you that may not have been good. I'm not going to say it's bad, but I think it may not have been great. It's not been the way that you wanted it. It's not been the way that you've expected it. It's not what you hoped it would be. And it could be that there have been some pretty nasty things that have happened that are ending now. Now we've got this Ten of Feathers, which indicates that ending some of this stuff may have been painful. Now this, in terms of your finances, could be that you've just lost a job in painful circumstances. It's painful to you. It's a job that you've enjoyed. You're now panicking maybe about where you're going to get your next meal from. I don't know. There's something that has been painful for you. And it could even be the end of a business as you know it. It could be that the whole situation in the world has ruined everything that you've built, and it's been intensely painful for you. I have a friend at the moment who's going through some stuff where he caters for big businesses, and some of those big businesses are going into administration. Clients that he's had for over 30 years that he's counted on are now going into administration, and he has no idea whether his services will be required or not. As of tomorrow, he could have nothing from them. And that is painful. When I spoke to him about it, the pain was pretty obvious. You know, these people, he's got to know them over 30 years, and that could just be gone in an instant on Monday. That's not a nice feeling. That is painful. How do we move past that? Well, he's got to look for some new opportunities. He has to hope that the new owners will sign up with him again and keep the status quo as it is. Or he has to look for some new opportunities. And new opportunities quite often come out of these kind of changes. I do feel that these two together are indicating that there has been a lot of change that has happened for you. But out of this change is now recovery and transformation. You are going to heal from these issues. You're going to move forward. I'm being drawn to tell you about this Five of Shells again, that whatever this change is, this change that has or is going to be painful. It's not going to be the easiest of things. It could have happened already. It may not have happened yet. I don't know. You'll have to let me know in the comments which it is. But this painful ending, you need to be hopeful, you need to be optimistic. And I know that that is really hard. You know, when the crap hits the fan, it can be very hard to remain positive. But this reading is saying that you must keep hopeful, you must remain positive. Because if you don't, it blocks you. It will block your prosperity. What we focus on, we get more of. So if all you think about is, oh, my life is terrible now, I have no money, I don't know what I'm going to do next, this is a disaster, then that is what you will attract more of. If you come out of it and you go, right, okay, I need to ground myself for a moment and think, how am I going to move this forward? Take the panic out of it, take the upset and the emotion and the hurt out of it, and say, how am I going to move this forward now? And look at the positive things that you could do that will bring you out of it. There are quite often ways that you can close an existing version of a business, but then you can use what you already know in a different way. So if you've had to close a business, I don't know, say you've had a restaurant, you've had to close it because the hospitality industry has just gone to pot over the last couple of years now, and you don't know what to do. Could you create a recipe book? Could you create a course on how to open a restaurant? All the things that people need to know before they do it. It's kind of turning it on its head a little bit. And if you're temporarily closed, same thing applies. Can you not do something? You know, how to market a restaurant. What kind of menu to create for a restaurant. This is just an example, but I'm sure you get the gist of what I'm saying. If you can't actually actively do the job that you want to do, can you teach others to do it in the meantime and make yourself some income that way? Look at it differently. So I do feel that this is a positive reading, but it's all dependent on you and how you use the energy of these cards that have come out. The opportunities are there. The opportunities are there. The wheel is there. This is good luck. This is possibilities, lots of possibilities. You need to focus on your recovery and letting go of this painful ending and getting past it. You are a person that has a very strong why as to why you do the things that you do, and I believe it's because you desperately want to provide security and comfort to your family. So that's a very compelling motivation to go out and earn money. You know, it's very difficult to go and lay in bed and feel depressed about stuff when you know that your kids need feeding. I've been there, I know, I've tried it. It was the only thing that got me out of an extremely deep depression, the fact that my kids were depending on me. Your blocks are this Ace of Crystals. This is you blocking your own prosperity. It's a danger of you blocking your own prosperity if you focus too much on the negatives of what has happened. If you start to focus too much on the disaster, on the losses, on the grief, you're going to block this. This is potentially what you are looking at. Manifesting new financial opportunities, lots more prosperity, but you are in danger of blocking them if you don't watch your mindset, watch your words, watch your thoughts, watch your beliefs. And that Five of Shells at the end is telling you about this balance between optimism and pessimism. That the change is coming, the change is here. But you need to look for the opportunities, you need to see things very positively. Because all these opportunities coming in with the wheel, you'll miss them if you're too busy focusing on the dark side. Does that make sense? If you're focusing on the dark side, all these fantastic things that are coming up could just pass you by. And we don't want that, Cancer. It's time for you to rebuild, to be positive. You can do this. You can do this. That's what Spirit's just said to me. You can do this. You have the power. So your business reading, this will probably expand on this more. This is about boundaries. Where do you need to establish better boundaries? Now, I bang on about this all the time because I do feel like women are raised to not have boundaries. We're not allowed to say no to people without feeling bad. We're not allowed to take time for ourselves because that's selfish. There are so many things in this world that we have been taught and raised and groomed almost to do. We can be tired, but if we don't have the husband's dinner on the table, then we feel badly about it. Why? Why do we do this? We have to set boundaries. We have to be able to say no to people when we need to. If something isn't 100% hell yes, we need to be able to say, I don't really want to do that. We need to start putting ourselves first. We need to make sure that we take good care of ourselves, because that way we replenish ourselves. We have the energy to move forward positively into prosperity and abundance. If we don't look after ourselves and take care of our own needs, we cannot fully help other people, can we? So, what boundaries? Have a look. This, I'm being told, is in connection with this deep dive. You need to take the deep dive here. This card, I'm being told, is in connection with this one, with Swan Spirit. This time for a deep dive. You need to take a deep dive into what boundaries you need to be setting. And I'm just going to... Spirit's just said toxic to me. Just one word. Just one word, toxic. Boundaries can also be about who you are being around. What kind of things you do in a day. What kind of music do you listen to? How much time are you spending watching TV? What kind of things do you watch when you watch TV? Who are your friends? Who are you spending time with? Are they people that lift you? Or are they naysayers? Are they the kind of people that just want to discuss all the negatives? So, I'm so sorry everything's gone wrong for you, but everybody else, you had to fail because this reason, that reason, the other reason. Do you listen to music that contains lyrics that bring you down instead of lifting you up? Do you watch TV shows that make you feel depressed and upset at the end of them? Or do you watch something that lifts you and makes you feel positive? Those are other kinds of boundaries that you might need to set. It's not just about saying no to doing things for other people that might be time-sucking or energy-sucking. This is about every aspect. And I'm being reminded to tell you of this because of this deep dive card here. That this isn't just about superficial setting boundaries. This is about you needing to take a deep dive into where you need to establish better boundaries. So where you need to focus your energy in your business is the Seven of Shells, choice and ambition. This, again, ties in with Swan Spirit. This is about you reevaluating. What are your choices? What are your values? Where are you going? What is your ambition for your business? Where do you want to take it? And is it in line with what is right for you and what would make you happy? Does that make sense? Because we can all talk about earning lots of money or buying a big house or driving a fast car. And then you realise you're in conflict. And I've mentioned my husband Mac a little bit in these last few readings because my husband is a Land Rover enthusiast. He loves those cars. We have one. We've had them for the last few years. But suddenly he's concerned about the environment, you know? And who isn't? I don't know whether my values have rubbed off on him or not. I don't know. But for a long time, Mac's ambition was to have an off-roading business, using Land Rovers to drive over rough terrain, bringing people in so that they could enjoy that sort of stuff with him, so that they could enjoy using the tools and the camping gear that comes along with a Land Rover. You can have winches on them and, you know, it all sounds like great fun. But that ambition comes with an environmental cost. These cars are not particularly environmentally friendly. And we go to visit our dream retreat place often. And the idea of drive, I could see that the kind of dawn of realization come over him when we were looking at a particular part of the land that comes with this house. And he could see where he would ruin it if he was driving over it in Land Rovers. And he said, you know what? He said, I don't think I want to do this anymore. I can't really justify doing it because it's going to ruin the environment. It's encouraging people to come and ruin the environment, and I don't want to do it anymore. I want to focus more on something else. And he's now looking at electric vehicles for personal use rather than this ambition. He's changed his mind. So this is kind of where this deep dive comes in. We have these dreams and they kind of flicker through our minds. We don't ever really take a deep dive on what these dreams are, what these ambitions mean on a practical level. And in order to bring our dreams to life, we have to be absolutely clear. We have to be 100% specific about them. Otherwise, we'll never get there. We don't plan a journey or a holiday somewhere and not know what flight we're getting on, how we're getting to the airport, what we're going to pack. We put all these details into where we're going. But then when it comes to our business goals, do we plan that out with the same amount of detail? Do we heckers like, as we say in Yorkshire? We don't do it. And this is, again, back to this deep dive. What do you need to do to plan out your dream, your ambition for your business? And then you need to look very closely at whether that business idea that you have is in line with your values. I've seen so many people that have aspired to have $1 million businesses. And some of them have been lucky enough to grow those businesses. And then they've left it behind. Why? Because it wasn't in alignment with their values. They did not want to run teams of 14, 15 people in order to make that business work. They would get business consultants in that would say, right, now we need to focus on the growth and we're going to have bigger offices with more staff and more software and more outgoings and more taxes to pay and more work on your part. And that is never what they wanted in the first place. So just be sure, don't build something that then turns out to be a waste of time down the line because it isn't what you wanted. It turns into this giant beast of a thing that just is not. It's not your ambition. So make sure that your ambition for your business matches your values and is something that would actually make you happy. This is about what is right for you emotionally. Let me know in the comments what you think. Is there something that you've been thinking about that you've changed your mind on now because it doesn't, you've realised it just doesn't align with your values? Your strengths, the positives. We've got the star here. Beautiful card for this position. This is about regeneration and rebirth and healing. And I feel definitely that in line with this financial stuff at the top, that this is where you're going with this. I feel like there's some big changes coming in, Cancer, that are going to bring your business in line more with who you are as a person and what you actually really want. There's been a lot of focus on people that have started businesses that do not fulfill them. So they're fulfilling a need and making money at it, and there's nothing wrong with that. But it's never in something that actually lights them up. They're selling some sort of gizmo or gadget or thing or item or service that just doesn't fulfill them. They're doing it for the money. It's not their passion or purpose. And I feel like with this reading here that there's a turning point of you actually starting to bring more passion and purpose into what you're doing. It could be that you're starting a new business to do what it is you're doing, and you're planning on either selling the old one or letting go of it in order to push forward with this new passion. The world has changed considerably in the last couple of years, and what we were doing 5 years ago, 4 years ago, 3 years ago, even 2 years ago is no longer relevant to the world that we're living in now. I had to close my ecotherapy clinic down. Why? Because I couldn't take people out into the mountains. I couldn't cross the borders. When we had the massive lockdown here, we couldn't cross the borders of our town. Never mind go to the beach or, meet people face to face. So my business just suffered the second that lockdown occurred. I tried taking it online. It didn't work for me. It didn't make me happy. It didn't fulfill my ambition. So I changed what I was doing completely. And now I'm really, really happy, I have to say. So I feel like out of all this digging deep, setting boundaries, making sure that everything aligns with your values, there is peace and healing and rebirth coming in there for you. I feel like there is definitely a rebirth of your business in some form or another. Possible obstacles, we've got the Three of Crystals. Collaboration and productivity. This is also about planning and growth and skills and learning new things. This is indicative of a blockage there, and it could be that you're listening to this reading and going, I don't want to do all this digging deep. I don't want to make all these plans. I don't want to be concentrating on this sort of stuff. I just don't care. I'm not interested in it. I'd rather just keep plodding on. This blockage could be what is blocking your prosperity here of your finances. You could be blocking help equally, because this is a card of collaboration. And it could be that you need some assistance with a few things that would help you to grow. It could be you need an assistant, a virtual assistant. It could be you need a kitchen assistant. I don't know. You could need somebody to help you with your business, to help you move forward. Social media management, that sort of thing. To take away the things that you hate doing, to free your time to do the things that you really want to do. It could equally be that you need to learn something and you've been putting it on the back burner for a while. It's time for you to unblock this. Allow collaboration. Do this planning, because I feel like this planning is key. If you have a map for yourself and a plan to follow, then you'll get whatever it is that your ambition is. It also will make it easier for you to set these boundaries, because if you know where you're going, you know what your values are, you know what the end game is for you. Then when somebody comes along and says, oh Cancer, I need you to do this, then you can go, well, wait a minute. Is this taking me closer to what I want, or is it taking me further away? Is it wasting my time? Is it a waste of my energy? Because if it is, then you know to say no to it. I hope that's making sense. That it, everything, the business plan. I'm not one for making sort of business plans for banks. I mean, some of you out there may have made business plans for banks, and it's all financial stuff and projections and strengths and all this, SWOT analyses and all the rest of it. I've made those kinds of plans when I've needed to borrow money to start a business, but in general, you put them in a drawer afterwards and you don't really pay attention to them. You do, however, need a plan of what you want to do, how you're going to go about doing it. What products and services are you supplying? How much are they going to be? How many of them do you need to sell to reach your financial goals? And your financial goals are going to be tied to your lifestyle goals. You want an apartment by the beach. How much is that going to cost you? How much money do you need to earn to get that? You need to make this plan. You need to make it concrete, and it will help you to move forward. Every single day you'll know what you need to do to move this dream on. The outcome is the Three of Feathers, release and recovery. This is you letting go of all this negative energy. It's an emotional release. I feel like it's tied with this Ten of Feathers, honestly, where your transformation is happening and you are now releasing a lot of the negative stuff. Whatever the situation that has been painful for you, it was temporary. It's not a permanent state of mind. I'm being told to tell you that this too shall pass. There's been some sorrow, there's been some loss, there's been some hurt feelings along the line. But it's time for you to heal from them. And I feel a lot of it is tied in as well to this deep dive. I'm just getting messages through there, so don't mind me if I pause. I'm kind of being told that during this deep dive into your business and how you want it to look and how you want to achieve it is also the opportunity to take a deep dive into whatever this painful thing is that has happened, and to just examine it. How can you prevent it happening again? What can you learn from this occurrence? And then you need to close the book on it and move on. I'm being told to remind you that there is no such thing as failure, only learning. And in business, quite often we look at things from the perspective of failure. And it's the wrong way to look at things. We need to be looking at, well, we've made changes because something didn't work for us. We've just pivoted. It's all a giant experiment. Business is a giant experiment. You're like a scientist, checking out what works and what doesn't. You have a hypothesis. Well, I'll make this product because I think X will buy it and it will do Y for them. So we set it up, we try it, it doesn't work. So we go, right, okay, that didn't work. How do we change it? How do we make X better so that it changes things for us? How do we make X better so that it then attracts more of Y? And you go back and you look at it and you tweak things a bit. Oh yeah, I needed a better sales page. Oh yeah, I needed to add this other stuff in. And then that would have made it, just a no-brainer for people to buy it. Oh yeah, I priced it wrong. I'll experiment. I'll put it back out there with a different price tag and see whether it does better. I'll put it out there with different graphics and see if it does better. I'll bundle it as part of a deal and see if it does better. It's all about experiment. Don't ever look at anything that you do in business as an out-and-out failure, because it isn't. So I'm not going to clarify any of these cards, honestly, because I feel like this message is very clear. It's time for you to take a long, hard look at your business and at your ambitions and whether the two are in line or whether the two are so far apart that it's causing you issues. I'm a little concerned about these blocks here because they are holding you back from an awful lot of prosperity. So please do just look at where you're blocking yourself. It could be that you need to get a coach to keep you moving forwards, because quite often we'll sit and we'll do the same things over and over and over. We never actually get out of our comfort zone. Sometimes we don't see our own blocks and other people see them better. That's kind of what I do. As an intuitive business coach, I can see where people are blocking themselves. I can see the kind of things that they are meant to do. I see the potential in people, basically, and can help them realize that potential. I help them see their own potential. I was reading something recently about how when Columbus arrived to islands where, they'd never seen a boat before, that the natives would look out and it took them a while to understand what they were seeing. They were seeing ships coming across the ocean towards them. But they didn't see them because they'd never seen anybody sail a boat before. So it was just completely out of their scope of knowledge that somebody could actually sail a boat over the seas and come and visit them. So they couldn't see it. How many times, I've got another analogy here for you. How many times do you go to your pantry and there's something in there and you know what it looks like? So you look in the pantry for this thing that you know what it looks like, and you realise you can't see it. It's not there. You don't have it. But you think to yourself, I know I have it. I bought some of this stuff at the supermarket. I know I have it. And then when you go back in, suddenly you see it because you realise you bought a different brand, or they changed the branding on the bag, on the packet. So it was there all along, right in front of you, but you didn't see it because it was wrapped up in something unfamiliar to you. And that is how the subconscious mind works. Getting a coach could help you to see the things that you can't see, and to see things from a whole new perspective. If you can't manage to hire a coach right now, get some good coaching books. Get down the library and have a look. Answer some coaching questions and see if that triggers anything for you. But definitely it's time for this deep dive. It's time for you to think about what you want your business to look like, how it's going to operate, where it's going to be in 5 years' time, in 10 years' time, and whether it fits with who you are as a person and what you want to do. There's no point in you, I don't know, starting a bakery in a particular town if what you really want is to travel. You want to live by the beach in Bali. Well, a bricks and mortar bakery is not really the right way to go about it then, because that's tying you down to something. That's not setting you free. However, creating recipes, making videos of icing cakes, all that sort of stuff that you could do from an apartment on the beach in Bali, that would work. Do you kind of get what I'm saying? I hope so. So, I'm going to leave it there, Cancer. This has been a great reading and I've really enjoyed doing it for you. If you appreciated me doing this free reading for you, please do like, subscribe and share it with anybody that might need to hear it today. And let me know in the comments what's going on. Where do you need to take a deep dive? Have you done this work and discovered that your dream does not fit with who you are as a person and what you really want? Let me know. I'd love to know. I'm very nosy. So, I'm off now. I'm off to have a cup of tea. And I'll see you soon. With love and magic always, this is Maria Gaian signing out.